Welcome, everybody. Hello. Happy Webinar Wednesday. Let's see your beautiful faces. Put your camera on. Open up the chat. Share your wins as we welcome everyone to the call. Good to see you. Hi, Brenda Lee. Hi, Vanessa. Hello, Blue. Victoria, hello. Welcome. Heather, hello. Congratulations, Heather. Go share that win. The power of decision. I love it. Wanda, good morning. Hello. Ingrid, welcome. Valeria, hello. Sarah, hello. Cindy, nice to see you. So good. All right, let's open up that chat. Sandra, hello. Sonia, see you. Caroline, too. Jeanette, hello. Carla, welcome. Hi, Erin, nice to see you. All right, Blythe, hello. Look at all of you making it on live today. Isn't this awesome? Veronica, Heather, Elizabeth, Silk Girl, Kelly. Awesome. 100% salary increase. That just flashed on my screen. Did you guys see that? So that's pretty cool. Ingrid found 150 bucks in her car. That's fun. Add a zero to that. Money's everywhere. Caroline's very efficient. She pre-typed her wins. I love this. She received a title change at work, a 16% annual raise. Awesome. 5% annual raise on top of the 16%. 500 retention bonus, commission check, tax return. Wow. Yes, yes, yes. She is, money's everywhere. Look at this, multiple sources of way to go. How cool is that? All right, let's see what else we got. 10% salary increase, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Writing project, offered $12,000 for a business loan, so good. Submitted a proposal to speak at a convention, says Elizabeth, in front of 200 to 300 people. Oh, so good. So good. You know you're on the right track when you're like, ooh, I'm not sure I want to actually apply for this because like, yeah, that's good. Leaning into that. Brenda Lee, becoming very clear on my goal, restarting TIR, lesson 1. Awesome. So good. Sarah, $5 fell out of the washing machine. Awesome. So we got to be willing to celebrate that, right? All of it, because that's where we put our focus is going to grow. So keep it coming. Listen, you guys, we have a big lesson today. A big meaning like I have a ton of content that I'm going to fit into one webinar for lesson 1. So I'm going to kick it off. And I love reading about your wins, and we love having you do push-ups when you don't put in your wins in the chat and all of that jazz. And at the same time, I want to be really, really efficient and effective with our time. So I'm going to ask a favor of each of you. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in the Success Society, we have posts that we put in. Monday is intentions, Wednesday is your wins, and Friday is what you're acknowledging the week. So you can close it up. If you're super coachable and you answer those posts, you'll notice what it does for your mind. Like it creates clarity in your mind, and we do them in that order on purpose. Obviously, you set your intentions for the week and you stick to that intention. Wednesday is midweek and you're harvesting your wins so that you're raising your vibration and connecting you to gratitude midweek. And then Friday you're acknowledging. So it's another like way to just close the week and allow you to clear and cut. So rather than for the next 12 weeks, me spending quite a bit of time raising your vibration on this webinar through wins, I'm going to make a bold request that you put them in the group, and we will capture them here. And I'm going to start off every call with getting you to put them in, but I'm not going to go through them as much. The reason why I like to do them usually on webinars is because notice how like you start to read this and you're like, oh my gosh, like that's for me too. That's for me. I'm going to just ask you guys to lead yourselves. Okay, for the next 12 weeks. What do I mean by that? Lead yourselves and go answer those posts Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because then I know for sure that the thinking work's being done. And then come in here, because you've already answered that Wednesday post, just like Caroline, you can copy and paste. And then our team will, like we always do, put it in the group so that you can see it. How does that sound for everyone? Because I really don't want, like, I really want you to get everything from the TIR. And what I noticed going back, I've got my very first manual, Participants Guide, like the very first, it's 2015 when I was a client. So I brought out my books just to like take a look. And what I've noticed is there is so much information. And my awareness from that beginning 2015 is very different. So I'd like to cover it all and be as effective as possible. So how's that sound? Hearts, thumbs up. Yeah, awesome. All right, so let's get into it. And the main message is that your wins matter. So share them. And that's not the reason why we're not doing that here. All right. Lovely to see all of you today. Welcome to lesson 1 of our TIR bootcamp. Holy crap. Like, I am on fire thinking and really diving back into this. And here's the truth. I redo TIR often, like a few times a year in between Lead the Field and some of the other programs. To be back in this with an intention to take all of you, it's like next level. Because I show up for myself first, but then I show up because I want to like be the best I can for you. And it's just like rocking my mornings. Like I'm jumping out of bed, I'm getting ready to study. So if like wherever you are with that, like really know that you, like as you build up this desire within, jumping out of bed because you're in love with life and the possibility of life, like no kidding, the possibility and the potential that you get to be, do, and have anything you want. And that's what's really like having me wake up is like, do you know your power? Do you know that anything that you create in your mind is for you? So in lesson 1 of TIR, there's really 3 steps in this lesson. Okay. The first step is for you to release and understand, more like understand the power of beliefs and where they come from, and then make a decision or have a knowing and understanding that you are actually in control of your beliefs. So the first step is all about like beliefs, and just and what I noticed from the very first time I answered the questions around beliefs, I don't know about you, but I had no idea that those beliefs I had were mine. Like the beliefs when I started this program weren't my beliefs. They were my mom's, my dad's, my grandparents', society's, my uplines in my network marketing career, my old high school teacher. Like the list goes on and on and on and on. And here's the thing, they didn't even originate it. Like my mom, she didn't come up with hers. She was also programmed. And so it's super important in lesson 1 that we have a complete understanding of what beliefs are. And so we're going to go over that today, and that you have the power to release them. And we do that work throughout TIR. It's just the knowledge that you've got the power in lesson 1. Does that make sense? So that's our first step, is really understanding beliefs. The second step is to have the courage to admit what you really, really, really want. Be, do, have. What you really want to be, what you really want to do in your life, and what you really want to have. And to build out the picture as big as you possibly can. And in order to do that, you might need to use time, meaning like my vision for the rest of my life, or my vision or my goals for like the next 10 years, because maybe right now you might not believe that you can manifest all those dreams in 1 year. And what the first belief that I want to debunk is like, what if we can actually start collapsing time in this community? And what you thought would take you 10 years can actually take you 1 or 5 can take you 1. So this is what we've seen in this work. And that's possible. And in the beginning, when you're creating a really big vision and goal for your life, and you're having the courage to admit it to you first, you don't have to tell anyone else. You just have to admit it. Like, in a universe where anything's possible, like, oh my gosh, like, I'd love to speak at this convention. I'd love to be interviewed by Oprah. I don't know how. I'd love to be on the cover of People magazine. I'd love to spend 6 months in Hawaii. It's your goal. It's your dreams. It's your fantasies. And we needed to get it all on paper. And so this week and your time in lesson 1, whether that's 1 week or 2, or maybe you're just reviewing it here on the webinar on weekends, also work. So your time in your thinking time in lesson 1, the second step is to have the courage. Now, why do I say courage? Because it really does take something to admit it. Because what if you don't do it? Like, think about that. That's really what stops us. Like, can I really put this on? Like, what if I never, make this happen? Or like the voice might come in like, who do you think you are? Like, Oprah, like, are we kidding? Who do you think you are? And so it's the courage that's necessary to just like write it down. Does it make sense? And to let go of all of that talk that's happening as you write it down. And you may be like me, like the first time, and Sandy Gallagher also says the same thing. When she wrote it down, she like covered it up right away. And I remember being in a Matrix event with Bob where I was one of his coaches, and I wrote down be his protege. There was the picture of Napoleon Hill, Earl Nightingale, and then him. And I'm like, my face is going to be underneath that. I'm like, what the, like, there's like, 50 other consultants in this room. What are you doing saying that? And that writing it down on my paper, not telling anyone, but writing it down on the paper was the first step. Because before that, I never even allowed myself to hear it. So this second step we're going to go through, it really takes some time. Okay. The third step is decision. You've got to make a committed decision that you are doing this no matter what. Like, you're making this happen and you're manifesting this and you're committed no matter what comes in your path. And so really it's a decision, I believe, that starts with self-image. Like, I deserve this, right? So it's a decision to bet on you, and it's a decision to be able to move through and grow no matter what. You're doing this. So the third step, decision. And what happens when you make the decision is, and this is the very beginning, he gives us a quote from Napoleon Hill in our participants guide. The world has a habit of making room for the person whose words and actions show they know where they're going. Think about this. We love to follow people that know where they're going. And what happens is you decide, and the universe has to follow. So you start operating from that place, and the universe has to catch up. And those of you that were at our retreat in Mexico, you felt that. Like, you boom, right? So the universe aligns to that decision, and that's got to be the last step. We don't need to make it. There's nothing to make a decision if you don't know what you want towards. Okay. So it's really important that they are in those three, in that order. Now, because if not, the decision's wishy-washy. And I'm going to tell you, wishy-washy goals, wishy-washy writing things down of what you want with no detail, wishy-washy results. That's one of the most common things I see. Does that make sense? So vague goals, vague lists about what you want, vague results. And you're like, I didn't ask for that. I'm like, I bet you did because you got it. No, I said house on the beach. And I said, okay, well, what kind of beach? You got it? Or I said like the perfect partner like this, XYZ, and it's like brown hair and whatever. And then you weren't specific around how he or she responds to you or treats you, you know? So here's the thing. If you get any sort of wishy-washy things in your life, it's because you're wishy-washy in your want and your ask. That's it. And so detail is important. All right, so let's review these steps. I've got my trusty whiteboard here today. We're going to be drawing some pictures on our stick person. So beliefs is number one. I'm going to move through this. You're going to get recording. So just like, you know, you can listen, accept what accept what I'm saying just by opening your subconscious mind. You can take mad notes if you want. If you usually take notes, try putting your pen down, Donna. Just kidding. Just try putting your pen down and just noticing what lands, because sometimes, you know, our habitual way is actually what's limiting us. So try and do the opposite here, but just know that you're going to get exactly what you require for today's growth. So tomorrow you can grow more, and you must do today's growth in order to do tomorrow's growth. So we're constantly building. And the beliefs bit. So step one, the major understanding here is that like I said, most of your beliefs, many of our beliefs were not ours. They're not ours. They were just programmed into us. And that's what the paradigm is, a multitude of habits and beliefs in the subconscious mind, right? The habitual way that we show up, the visual way we be, do, and have, really. And all of that's part of the paradigm. A belief is just a thought that you keep thinking until it becomes a belief. And the thought was programmed into you, and most likely the person that did the programming, it was programmed into them. And there's some crazy, awesome examples. One of my favorite stories that Bob used to tell was the one about his wife. Well, there's two around food. And the first one is about his wife cooking ham. And the second one was about parsnips. So Bob's watching his wife in the kitchen cooking, and he says to her, like, why do you cut off the bottom of the parsnip and throw that out and you keep the greens? And she's like, oh my gosh, like, you can't eat that white thing. That's for the pigs. And he said, well, what part do you eat? And she says, the green. He's like, no, that's for the pigs. She was programmed wherever she's from. Some of you can tell me somewhere in the US where they eat the green top.